And we are back to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we not only talk about the headlines in the markets, we also do the analyzing. We go over here and we talk about the chart patterns, talk about the indicators, and we talk about some of the fundamentals and revenues, profits, etc. So let's get right into it. What are some of the headlines we're going to talk about for today? Well, for today, one of them is Nebius. Nebius stock just popped 14% on NVIDIA's $2 billion investment announcement. That's one of them. Another one we'll talk about is Meta. Why are we talking about Meta? Because Meta rolls out an in-house AI chips weeks after massive NVIDIA AMD deals. So we'll talk about some of their chips and what they're doing. We'll talk about Google. Why? Because Google sells partial stake in Fiber and becomes a minority owner of the new venture. So this is Google Fiber. We'll talk about that one. Also, Amazon. We'll talk about how Amazon, Zoox partnered with Uber to reach more robotaxi riders. First in Las Vegas and then in LA. That's Zoox. That's Amazon Zoox. Also, we'll get into the CPI, or as some people say, the CP lie, because they don't really believe the numbers. Also, Accumulation. Where is this one? Accumulation. They cut 10% of their workers, basically 1,600 jobs, to self-fund investments in AI and enterprise sales. Okay, that's all coming up. And what about oil prices? We gotta talk about oil prices too. So, for example, oil prices touch 100 again as Iran. Lucas, thank you for the likes. As Iran ramps up shipping attacks in the Persian Gulf. So here we are, dun dun dun, and let's get right into it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to talk about is Nebius. Let's go back to this one. Let's go a little bit deeper into this one, okay? And this is not a script, this is my notes for the day, so I encourage all of you to do the same thing. Take some notes on the headlines and see how they change in the charts, etc. So, Nebius, their stock jumps up 14% on the $2 billion investment in the AI cloud company, and they will collaborate on AI infrastructure, design and support, and NVIDIA will also give Nebius early access to the newest generation computing platform, and they will deploy more than 5 gigawatts of capacity by 2030. So together, they're scaling the cloud to meet global demand for AI. Now, what is Nebius? Who is Nebius? Well, Nebius is basically a Netherlands-based AI native cloud platform specialized in providing high performance GPU infrastructure for training and deploying artificial intelligence models. They had large scale AI. They focus on building large scale AI factories and providing cloud services, recently securing a major $2 billion partnership with NVIDIA. Yeah, that's a little bit about Nebius. Now let's go over here. So that's the headlines about Nebius. And NVIDIA took a $2 billion stake in chip design Synopsys and announced a $2 billion stake in CoreWeave as well. But now they just invested $2 billion in Nebius. Let's go check out Nebius on TradingView so we can analyze it, break it down. Here we go. I have the 1 minute chart and the 1 day chart as well. So here we go. Nebius. Here we go, Nebius. This is the, give it 1 second, it's loading. Refresh this thing, reload it. Hold on, just taking a minute to reload here. Give me 1 second. Here is Nebius. Let me change the timing on this so you can see it better. And there is, here is, here is Nebius. This is on the 1 1 minute, and then here is Nebius. I'm putting it on the one day, and I'm changing the, yeah, here we go, 1 second. This way we'll be able to see different chart patterns because the timing will change the patterns that emerge. And okay, there's that. Okay, here's Nebius. Now, one of the things we want to look at first is the indicator, the RSI. RSI right here. This is the relative strength index right here, and right here. So behind me, relative strength index. This is the 70 line. This is the 30 line. Now, what does this really tell you? So relative strength index, RSI, tells you when it's about to become overbought or oversold. But keep in mind also, these things can go way overbought or way oversold a long time before they ever market correct and come down, or market correct and go up. So, for example, let me show you this one. Right here. You'll see right here. This thing goes way oversold for quite a while here. It's at 90 right here. It's at 90 before it ever market corrects and comes down. Yeah, so bear that in mind. And then also let me show you one where it goes oversold if I can. Maybe I can't, but yeah, here we go. Now let's look over here at some of the. This is the MACD. The MACD. Let me show you this. Moving average convergence divergence. Basically, to keep it super simple, right now we're going to say the MACD is the blue line, and when the blue line crosses the red line, for example, right here, see that when the blue line crosses the red line going down, you will have a downward pattern, or right here, for example, when it crosses going down right there. Also, when it crosses going up, you'll have an upward pattern. So, for example, right here, price chart goes up. Right here, the MACD goes up, price chart goes up right there. Okay. Now, that's just a brief example of a brief intro to the MACD chart. Let's go over here now to some of the price chart patterns. Okay. Let me show you these right here. All right. Now, one thing I want to show you is this. This is an example of here's a reverse head right here. Here's a reverse head. And then right here is the left shoulder, right shoulder. And here is the neckline. Left shoulder, right shoulder. There's the neckline. And you can see right here how it's jumping out of the neckline right there. Okay. And that's the reverse head and shoulders, and that's what it does. It's supposed to go up. Now there's Nebius. This is the 1 minute, and let's see. Let me put this on the 1 day, so we can see a couple things here. 1 minute. Oh, why did it change? Here's the. Sorry. Here's the. 1 second, let me adjust the timing on this chart. And here we go. Here's your 1 day. I put it on the 1 day so we can see different patterns. Here's that, and then here's this. Yeah, so for example, here's a good example of a double top. Now, this is the 1 day chart. You can see patterns a little bit easier here. Here's the 1 day, and then right here, bang. Here's your neckline. You see right here, it comes up, and it comes right down here and tries to come up again. Right there where these two meet in the middle, that's your neckline, and then bang, it drops. So that's your double top. A double top is supposed to go up and then come down. So that's exactly what it does. There's your double top. And then right here, let me show you another, for example. If you're looking at Nebius right now, you'll be able to see this is This is the jump that it's talking about. Bang, it jumps up right here. And right now it's sitting at about 113. And you can see right here, right there, the trading volume, these are the trading volume bars. And right there, the trading volume bar goes up much, much higher. So that's why you're seeing that bar right there. And the RSI is sitting here at 60, right there at 60. So it's pretty neutral. And that's also what you're seeing right here in the price chart right there. Kind of a neutral image right there, all right? And then right here. Here is a good example of a head and shoulders chart. See if I zoom in on this, you can see there's the head right there. And then there's a small, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, and then bang, there's the breakout right there, okay? So head and shoulders, and then there's the breakout. Let me see if I can give you another one. Well, anyway, that's Nebius, and we'll be able to have more chart patterns on the other tickers coming up. But I just wanted to show you a couple of those, okay? And then here, let me adjust this for you. This is the MACD, and then this is the RSI. And you'll notice here with the RSI, it's very neutral. And so this, if it's neutral, you're expecting this chart pattern to kind of stay like that until there is a reason to break out, okay? So bear that in mind. And now if we go over here to the fundamentals, right, remember when I said the volume is at 34.8 million and the market cap is at 28.19 billion. That's what this is looking at right here. Boom, that's that volume bar right there. So the volume has gone up because there's more price action right here. And then market cap is 29.1 billion. The fundamentals, we can look at that. The fundamentals will tell you a lot more about the earnings. What do I mean? Well, for example, Nebius, you have quarterly earnings and you have annual earnings. You see that button right behind me? So here's your quarterly earnings, and for Q4, Q3, and Q2. And you can see that even though the earnings were here, I'll put my cursor over it. Even though the earnings were negative, they were less negative than what they were supposed to be. So in these cases, even though they were negative, they still beat the earnings report for all 3 quarters. And then if you go here to annual for 2025, right here, annual 2025, you can see that as a year as a whole, it was more negative than was expected. So it missed their earnings expectations. Over here, you can see the blue bar. That's what was reported. It was much less than the gray bar. So again, it missed expectations by a long shot. The 1 year that was positive for earnings was 2023, and it was above the expectations. So 2023 was the only year as a whole, overall as a year, that beat earnings expectations, all right? Now, that tells you a little bit about the earnings, but what about the profits? What about the income? Well, let's take a look at that. Right here, annually, you'll see revenue, profit, operating income, and net income for 2025, or let's look at 2024 and 2025, okay? So look behind me. For example, total revenue for 2024 and 2025 were green, and gross profit was green for 2024. However, that's it. Everything else was red in the negative, okay? And if you look at 2023, that was a terrible year also. 2023 was red in the negative, yeah. So the statements, the income, the revenue was not very good for these years. Now, some people like to look at the forecast. I personally do not, but if you're one of the people that does like to look at the forecast, here it is. But again, I would take this with a bucket of salt. This is just what the analysts on Wall Street are saying about this company. and what they think about the forecast. But again, I wouldn't put too much salt into this. But here we go. That's Nebius, and Nebius was they got propped up because NVIDIA just invested $2 billion into Nebius. So what we're going to do next is we're also going to take a look at NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA is always in the news. They're doing big things right now. So let's do that. Here is right here, NVIDIA. Okay, let me adjust this timing so you can see it better. And bring this down. So that's NVIDIA on the 1 minute. Here is, I'm going to do NVIDIA on the 1 day. NVIDIA on the 1 day right here. So here's NVIDIA. Yeah, here is NVIDIA on the 1 day. Bring this thing down. Okay, so this is the 1 day chart, and here's the 1 minute chart. So let's look at NVIDIA. We talked a little bit about the RSI and the MACD. The RSI right now for NVIDIA is sitting for the 1 day chart is sitting right here at 50. Okay, now that's at 50, so it's very, very neutral, right? You can see right behind me, that's at 50, very, very neutral. And maybe you can't see it very well. I'll bring it over here. Yeah, right there. There's the 50, super neutral. And then as you can see right here, that is reflected in the price chart, very, very neutral. And as you can see right here, I want to show you this. This is almost consolidation or continuation right here. Boom. Consolidation, continuation right there. Yes. And also, I want you to be able to see this pattern. Here is what we call the head and shoulders right there. Okay. Here's your head and shoulders. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then there's the neckline. And this one, see, not all patterns break out. This is supposed to break out and go down, right? But not all patterns do. So here's the head and shoulders with a no breakout, okay? And also, let me see if I can find a better one for you. Done. This, for example, this is almost a double bottom, but be careful on this one because this is a double bottom, but it doesn't come down to exactly the same point, but almost. It's almost the same point, but not quite. So be careful with that one. But it does do exactly what a double bottom is supposed to. Double bottom and then bang, it shoots up. So it does what a double bottom is supposed to, but it doesn't come down to exactly the same point. This, however, is closer to the same point right here. Right here. And so done. Here's your double bottom with, see my green crayon right there, hits that and goes up. And on this double bottom, you can see right here, this is the neckline because that point right there is where they both come up and meet. So that's your double bottom neckline. So when it breaks out past that, that's your breakout line, okay? Done. That is your breakout line right there. And here's your double top right here. Double top, and then bang, it comes down. And then here is your neckline right there. Here, double top, bang, comes down. Right there is your neckline on the double top, and that's where the breakout occurs, okay? So, hope that's interesting. I hope that's a little bit helpful for you. If you're looking for chart patterns, maybe so. Let's see. And then here we go. Yeah. So that's enough right now for NVIDIA on the chart patterns. Also, just be aware, for example, right here, you'll notice that the let me adjust this a little bit so you can see this better. Okay, right here again, you'll notice the trading volume comes up a little bit on certain places. When the trading volume comes up a little bit on certain places, that means that there's usually more price action, because people trade more when there's more price action. Look over here. You see that one right there? A lot more right here. See this arrow right here? More trade volume, more price action right there. So there you go. Now volume wise, right now today the volume isn't so high. It's only at 145 million. Market cap for NVIDIA is at 4.5 trillion. And then for earnings, let's talk about this one. Earnings, again, you have quarterly, you have annually. Quarterly, you have Q4 right here. You also have Q3, Q2. So these are the quarterly earnings, okay? And you can see the blue bars are higher than the gray bars. Blue bars are higher than the gray bars. And that means that for NVIDIA, the last 3 quarters were higher than expected. So that looks strong for NVIDIA. And same, let's go to annually. Annually, if you look at the annual, annually, the earnings were higher as a year for 2025, 2024, and 2023. Because as you can see, the blue boxes were higher. That means for all 3 years, they out-earned the Wall Street analyst forecast. So yeah, bear that in mind. Now, earnings can be good, but maybe the profits and incomes might not be. Let's take a look at that. So here are the click the annual button right there, profits and incomes. Here we go. For the last 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, profits, incomes, it was all green, doing well, as you can see. Behind me, all columns were green right there. So that's that. Now let's go here to, that's NVIDIA. Okay, we talked about NVIDIA. Now we have to talk about Meta. Why are we talking about Meta today? Because Meta's in the news big time, because Meta just rolled out in-house AI chips weeks after massive NVIDIA and AMD deals. So let's talk about that. Just to go deeper into this, Meta revealed four custom in-house chips tailored for AI-related tasks as part of the company's data center expansion plans. The specialized silicon is part of the Meta Training and Inference Accelerator, MTIA family of chips. Now, what does this mean? Well, by designing custom chips, which are then made by TSMC, Meta can squeeze more price per performance across its data center fleet rather than relying only on vendors. It also provides more diversity for silicon supply and insulates them from price changes. Okay, Meta's AI spending. Yeah, Meta's AI spending spree includes data centers in Louisiana, also in Ohio and Indiana, and they are looking to lease space at the Stargate in Texas after both OpenAI and Oracle scrapped the expansion plans. So that's part of the reason why Meta is doing a lot right now. And for example, just to flip the chart on that, Google, for example, has been developing their own in-house silicon to fill data centers as they seek alternative to cost supply constrained GPUs from NVIDIA and AMD, okay? So that's a little bit about what Meta is doing right now and why they're in the news. So let's take a look at them, all right? So Meta, where are you? Here is Meta. All right, taking a look here. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, just a little bit about Meta. They filed for $30 billion in bonds on October 25th. Hey, T-Bay, thank you for the likes. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, did I miss any comments here? Hello to everyone who's joining. Welcome to the channel where we talk about U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. We make it all fun. Thanks for the shares. Welcome. So right now we're talking about the news with Meta, and we're doing Meta on TradingView right now. Let me change. Let me change the timing on this chart a little bit to make it more useful. Here we go. There's this. Okay, and then let me change this time a little bit. Okay. Okay, here's Meta on the 1 minute, and then we do Meta on the 1 day, because we'll see different chart patterns that way. Change if you do different time frames, you'll be able to see different patterns. It's helpful. And then here's this. Okay, so here's the 1 day. Now, hello everyone. Again, Meta on TradingView, because Meta's in the news right now for their chips. Right now, you can see the RSI, Relative Strength Index, is at 49 or 52 right there. Very, very neutral, and that's kind of what you're seeing. What does that mean for the price chart? It means very, very neutral there. You see I boxed that in. If you have it very neutral on the RSI, it'll be very neutral there on the price chart, not going up, not going down. Now, here's something I want you to pay attention to. As far as the chart pattern is concerned, right here, here's a head, here's a left shoulder, here's a head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and right here, you're seeing a head and shoulders. Now, you can see that right here, it does actually break the neckline and go down. Now, it does break the neckline and go down, and then it stabilizes, right? That's a waste of money because they can go down and lose all of your... that's a waste because they can go down and lose all of your money. Evil Smoky Bear, what do you mean? What's a waste of money? Which part are you talking about? What can go down and lose all of your money? Let me know. I'm kind of confused by that. I'm kind of confused by what you're referring to. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate the comment, but just let me know what you're referring to. It'd be helpful. Thank you. But yeah, just to show you the chart pattern, there's the head and shoulders. It does break out just a little bit from the neckline, but not much, and then it does stabilize right there. And again, looking at the RSI, you do see the stabilizing there too. Internison, welcome, good to have you here. And then right here, if you go over here as well, you'll see. Where's my marker? Here's my green crayon. Here's your small head, left shoulder, right shoulder here. Here's your neckline as well, head and shoulder as well. And let's see, there's a lot of head and shoulders on this Meta chart. Kind of the same thing right here. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's your neckline. And you can see it, bang, right here. It breaks out past the neckline. Head, shoulder, neckline breakout there. Yeah, for all of you joining, welcome to the channel. This is an educational channel. It is not a sales channel or a persuasive channel. It's just purely to share some of the information about charts, some of the information about the headlines and the fundamentals. Hope it's interesting for you. We're not trying to sell you anything. There we go. Okay, here we go. Again, looking at Meta. One thing I'll show you again right here is you see the trading volume bars. These trading volume bars, they're higher when there's a lot more price action. When you see more price action, a lot of times that's when you see these spikes in trading volume right there. And then I wanted to show you this as well, because like I said, the RSI can go way overbought or way oversold before it ever market corrects. Here it is going way overbought. You see that? That's all the way up at like 83. Let me see if I can get you another one where it gets oversold or something. Yeah, but that's an example of that. Now, just to show you a little bit how the charts can change, go here to the 1 minute. This is the 1 minute chart, and you'll see it does look different. But sometimes in the 1 minute, you can see different patterns that you don't see in the 1 day, and then you can kind of compare, right? So, for example, here is a small reverse right here. You see the reverse head, and then left shoulder, right shoulder, and then here's your neckline. Here is your breakout right there. Reverse head and shoulder, neckline, breakout. And then right here, dun dun dun. Here is here's one top, here's another top, and you see how they both come down to basically the same point right there. The same point, double top, and then bang, it breaks out. Welcome guys. We're talking about the US markets headlines, and we're doing the analysis on TradingView. If you have a chart or something that you want me to analyze, be free to let me know. And yes, this looks like, for example, here you have here's one bottom, and you have another bottom right here. Thank you for the likes. And you see right here the two bottoms, double bottom, and then bang, it breaks out and goes up. And so this is on the 1 minute chart. You see how it is different from the 1 day. You do see some different patterns, and you can zoom in and spread these out to see the different patterns that show up. And then you can also adjust the scale here like I'm doing so that you can see different things. Yeah, it's all very, very helpful. Just play around with it until you get more familiar with it. Again, here's a smaller one, but here's your bottom right here. Here's another bottom right there. Double bottom, and it breaks out and goes up. If you see that. Hoppin' Papa. I love the name, man. Hoppin' Papa. Thank you for the likes. Glad you're enjoying it. Hoppin' Papa. Let's see. And as you can see, again here, the trading volume right here, the trading volume, you see those bars, they go up because of all this trading, right, all the price action right here, okay? Oftentimes you will see more trade volume when you see more price action. Oh, here's a good one. I like this, very clear. Here's a head right here. You see my green crayon, there's the head. And then right here, I'll point these out with the arrow, red arrow, there's the left shoulder, there's the right shoulder, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and that's the head and shoulders, and it goes down. You see that? I gotta bust some snow. Got it. Zach, good to have you. Bust some snow. Good. Hoppin' Papa. I love it. Thanks, guys. But yeah, there's your easy to see head and shoulders, and there it does break the neckline and go down a little bit, not too much, before it reverses and goes back up again. So there's that. Yeah, here is, again, you want to see, here is your double bottom here, double bottom, and then bang, it goes up. Again, just some chart patterns for you. Now we're going to go into the fundamentals. Get you back to the beginning. And again, you see right here a lot of trade volume right here, and you have it's because you have price action right there. Okay, the more price action, usually the more trade volume. Okay, now volume today is at 8.9 million. Market cap is at 1.6 trillion. And then fundamentals. Let's go right here. Okay, you have quarterly, you have annually. Yes, generally you get more information from the annually because it's yearly information. Quarterly is it's too short to get much information from, but it depends upon your strategy. It depends upon what you're trying to do. If you want the just some quick information, quarterly, you can say for Meta Q4. I don't have any Meta, but I do have AMD. Oh, Hoppin' Papa. I'll tell you what, after I do Meta, I'll look up AMD for you, okay? Because that's partly the purpose of this channel is I can, as an educational channel, we can do that. So AMD, you will be next. Hop and Papa, just stay on a few minutes and I'll get to you, okay? Cool, man. So Q4, Meta for Q4, as you can see, the blue bars was higher than the gray bars, so it beat expectations. Now, however, Q3 was terrible for earnings. Look at that. It missed the expectations by a lot. Now, if you go to Q2, Q2 beat expectations easily. So again, what does this tell you? That here, 2025, overall though, 2025 for the year beat expectations. So you can have a bad quarter or something sometimes, but overall for the year, it'll work itself out. 2024, again, for the year, it was higher than expectations. Same thing with 2023. What does this really mean? Well, it means that, for example, if you're looking, if one of your specific pieces of information that's important is earnings, then here it is. And did the company beat the earnings that was forecasted? Yes, it did. So that means there's more vitality, more strength, longevity in the company. Means they're doing something to bring in cash. And therefore, if it's better than what was predicted, that also means that it looks good on Wall Street. So therefore, maybe they get more investments. Maybe they maybe their stock goes up. It depends, because sometimes you can have an earnings beat, but the stock doesn't go up or the stock still goes down. It just depends. But this is one significant piece of information, but not the only one. That's why you have to look at everything, okay? So again, if you're just now joining, welcome everyone to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we analyze it. We're not here to sell you anything. It's just an educational channel, so just enjoy it as it is. Statements wise, hit the annual button behind me, and right here for Meta, you'll see the last 3 years, 2023, 24, 25, we're all good, all green for revenue, profit, income, except for 2025 had negative net income, so that wasn't so good. But otherwise, it was looking pretty good for the revenue, profit, and income. See here, you can see the statements look good, and also the earnings looked pretty good. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes the earnings can be good, and then the profits won't be. So keep in mind and look at all of that. Okay. Now I'd see. I promised you I would look at AMD. So let's do that before we move on. Here is, let me erase these. AMD, right, advanced micro devices. Let's do it. And this is the 1 minute chart. I set mine on 1 minute and I set mine on 1 day. I have two different charts so that I can compare how they look. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Here's 1 minute, and then here's 1 day. AMD right here. AMD, done. And so you will be able to see different patterns on different time charts. That's why we have it like this. And here, like that. So 1 day, let's go to 1 minute first and see what we find. Remember, Hop and Papa, I think it was you that asked about this. If you're still here, here's your RSI. Well, let me do it. Actually, let me do the 1 day first. Here, let me do the 1 day RSI. This is 47, 48. Welcome, Hop and Papa, good. Glad you're still there. For those just joining, we're analyzing AMD on TradingView. RSI is sitting here at 50, 48, so it's super, super neutral. And that's also what you see here in the chart pattern, okay? So what do I mean by that? Right here, boom, chart pattern behind me is very, very neutral. It's stabilized. Now, I will erase that and I will show you this. We just came off of a head and shoulders pattern. Here's your head, and then right, let me change this time a little bit. Yeah, here's your head, and here's your shoulders right here. Okay, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then bang. It doesn't. I want you to know. See on this one, it doesn't break the neckline very much. So there's these patterns that have no breakouts basically. And let me show you another pattern. Oh, here's one thing I wanted to show you too. If you notice down here, right here, here is your RSI, and it goes all the way up to 85 before it finally market corrects and comes down. That's why I say the RSI is just kind of a guide. Don't use it as face value because it can go way overbought or way oversold before it corrects and goes up, or corrects and comes down. And look over here. Look at this RSI. Look how long it stays. Right there. You see this one? Overbought for a long time before it ever market corrects and comes down. So be aware of that. I want to show you a couple more patterns here. Right here. If you notice, here is one. Here's your top. Here's your top right there. Where is it? Can you see it? Yeah, right here behind me. Top, and then bang, it comes down. See the double top? The buyers lose momentum and the sellers take over. Okay. What is the neutral RSI number? Oh, hop and pop up. Very good question. Let me show you that. The neutral, I'll tell you that, and I'll show you that. I'll give you an example, because oftentimes that's better. Let's see. Oh, here we go. If you look right here, I'll highlight it right here. Okay, see my RSI? That's between about 45 and 55. It doesn't have to be exact like that. It could be, 55, could be 60, it could be 40, but in that range somewhere. And then you see right here in the price chart, it basically just goes up and down like a ping pong ball. Yeah, it goes up and down like a squiggle, but it doesn't, go up and down. You see, what I'm trying to say is you see this invisible ceiling there, and you see the invisible floor. You can call that the resistance and the support if you want, or you can call that the consolidation or the continuation, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it looks like. It's just an up and down squiggle because, yeah. But there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. So again, the numbers on the RSI are just a guide, but between 45 and 50 and down to, between 45 to 55 or 40 to 60, somewhere in there. There you go. Thank you. Good question, by the way. And then right here, you'll see the double top, bang, bang. You see my two arrows, the double top, and then a small breakout down right there. And then, here we go. Once again, here's a peak, and basically it's right there, peak, two peaks, and then bang, it drops down. A lot of double tops on this one. You asked about AMD. Let me see if I can get, I was hoping to find a different chart pattern here. Here's one. Interestingly enough, see right here you have the double top, brings it down, and then oftentimes you have the reverse. Here's the double bottom to send it right back up. So one sends it down, the double top, and then the double bottom, boom, sends it right back up. It's you'll find that a lot. You find that the same thing also when you have a head and shoulders. You also have a reverse head and shoulders, stuff like that. Yeah. And I can show you. Anyway, that's AMD. I'll get you some more chart patterns on the next ticker, but that's for right now. I think that's okay. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the likes, guys. I'm not a professional algorithm person, but I've been told that that's good for the algorithm. So thank you very much. Yeah. So here, one thing to notice also. See these spikes right here in trading. You're welcome, Hoppa Papa. Glad to help out. Here, see my arrow? The trade volume jumps up because look at this massive right here. See that massive amount of price action? the price action often follows the or the trade volume and price action go together hand in hand. That's also why right here, if you see this, right here, bang, all the trade volume here goes up a little bit. It's because there's price action here. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Welcome everyone to the channel where we're talking about U.S. markets and headlines. Let's go now to the fundamentals on. This was one of the ones that was requested. AMD was requested. Let's go to the fundamentals. Volume today is at 23.08 million. Market cap is at 333 billion. Looking at Trading View, if you're wondering what the software is, and again, earnings. There is quarterly and there's annually. Depends on what your strategy is, if you're doing short term or long term, but generally you get more information from annual. But nonetheless, AMD for the quarter, you see this is the blue bar, which is what they actually received. I'm gonna go hold AMD for long term. Okay, I'm gonna hold AMD for long term. That's your strategy. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your strategy. Let me know if there's any other tickers that you want or anything else you're looking at. I'm happy to help out. Q4, as you can see, Q4, the actual received earnings were higher than expected, which is a positive sign for strength of the company. Same thing with Q3, and Q2 actually equaled it. So the last 3 quarters either equaled or exceeded expectations, which looks good on Wall Street, which looks good for investments, which looks good for lots of things. That's how that comes into play. If you click on annually, 2025, right there, you can see as the year was, it did better than expected. I used to day trade, but been just investing the last 6 months. Good for you. Again, everyone's different. Everyone has different things they enjoy and different strategies. You know, power to you, man. I appreciate you sharing. 2024, you'll see there, the expectations at least equaled expectations, so that's good. Same thing with 2023 equaled. So AMD as a whole for the last 3 years either equaled the earnings expectations or exceeded it. So again, that looks good, that looks strong on Wall Street for that particular piece of information. Again, we have to look at other things like revenues and profits, because you can have great earnings and then not so good revenues and profits. So look at all of it. So here we go, statements, click the annual button right there, annual, bang. So here we go. Right behind me, you'll see 2024 and 2025. And you'll see 2024 and 2025 were all green, all doing good on revenue, gross profit, operating income, and net income, which is very positive. However, 2023 was a bad year, and everything was negative. Thank you, Randy Gibson. Good to have you here. Enjoy the show. If you have a question about a ticker, let me know. Yeah, for 2023, everything was red, negative, except for gross profit. So again, 2023, yeah, otherwise it was good for that. Some people look at these forecasts, but I don't. But I just wanted to show it you here in case it was interesting to you. Hop and Papa, I was day trading it when it was in the 30s and 50s because of the price action. Yes, I got you. Thanks. Interesting. I like how you share that. Here's, if you want the forecast, there it is. But personally, I don't put too much stock into this. It's more for entertainment. Yeah, this is AMD on the day time for, you know, on the 1 day pattern. Here's AMD in case you're curious on the 1 minute pattern. Again, you can use them to find different patterns, and you can you can compare which patterns show up in which time and which ones, compare them. Now that's AMD. If you have another one, let me know. We talked about AMD, we talked about that. We have to talk about Amazon. Why Amazon? Because Amazon's also in the news. Their robo-taxi company Zoox just partnered up with Uber. Let me tell you about that one. Again, not a script, this is my notes for the day. I spend copious amounts of time on this. Zoox partners with Uber to reach more robo-taxi riders. First in Las Vegas, then in Los Angeles. Zoox is making it possible. Pre-market can be so. Yes, Definitely a hop and papa. it can all be tricky, not just the pre-market. But yeah, but you're doing the right thing. I mean, it sounds like you're always learning and growing, and you're getting education. In fact, that's probably why you're here. So good for you. Again, I salute you. And so Zoox is making its toaster shape. Look at this. So look behind me, the toaster shaped car. Can you imagine? Yeah, toaster shaped self-driving vehicles available through Uber. Zoox's deal with Uber is a sign of growing confidence in Amazon's ability to expand after years of development, and marks the company's first tie-up with a third-party platform by the end of 2026. And Uber aims to offer driverless rides in 15 cities. Where does it say that? Yeah, down here. Yeah, it already has driverless options in Atlanta, Texas, Phoenix in the U.S., and several places in the Middle East. Lucas, hello, welcome. And yeah, so let's take a look here. That's Amazon Zoox. And they tied up with Uber. Let's go here to Trading View and look up Amazon. Amazon, here we are, right here. Greetings to everyone who's joining. Welcome to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets. We make it fun, or we try to. We promise not to bore you. This was interesting. Have a great day, and thank you. Oh, no problem. Thank you for the interesting dialogue, Hop and Papa, and good vibes. Yeah, no stress, man. Enjoy it. This is the 1 minute chart, and okay, here is the one day. Let me put this on Amazon, right here. And okay, so here's the one minute chart. I have two different charts for two different times, because that way you can see different patterns. But let's start out first with the 1 day, and let me adjust the time here on these graphs a little bit here. And okay, yeah, okay, here we go. One thing I want you to see right here is the RSI. Right here is at 47. Okay, 47 is very neutral, and you'll also see that right here in the price chart. See how right there it's not going up or not going down, it's kind of staying stable right there. That is also, again, you'll see that reflected in the relative strength index right there, and you'll see that those two correlate with each other. Now, again, you'll see, just to show you how the moving average convergence divergence here is the, see my arrow right here. This, the MACD line crosses the red signal line going up, and also right at this, almost the same place, it crosses going up right here. The one of the criticisms with the MACD is it does have lag time, and oftentimes there's more lag time when there's less price action. When there's more price action, there's usually less lag time, so keep that in mind. There you go. Sorry, I missed the comments. Marty, very nice to see you. You're staying busy and not wasting any day. Thank you, Marty. White Mormon Jesus. Okay. Yes, welcome everyone. This is the channel where we're talking about everything markets and headlines. If you have a question about a ticker, just put it in the comments below. Yeah, here we go. And so now let's look at some chart patterns here. One thing I'll show you on Amazon right here. Here's the double top right here. Again, right there, you see my arrows. There's a double top, and I'll put this the brush Here's the green, if you see that, double top, and then bang, it drops. That's exactly what the double top is supposed to do. Here is the neckline on the double top right there. And then over here, show you some other ones. Amazon, for example, right here you can see right here you can see, if you see my circle right there, you'll see a double bottom right here. Here's a double bottom, and then bang, it goes up. Double bottom, and then bang, it goes up right there. Over here you can see, here's the head, here's the left shoulder, right shoulder, here's your neckline, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, and this one does break out the neckline too, okay? Dun, dun, dun. Right there. Randy, welcome to the channel. And then here, over here, this, look at this, you can see here, here's the reverse head, left shoulder, and right shoulder. Here's your diagonal neckline, and then it does break out a little bit right there, okay? Yeah, so those are some charts for Amazon, and again, we're looking at Amazon because their Zoox Robotaxi just partnered up with Uber, and so they're in the news right now. Here's a good one. I like this one right here. You can kind of see, here's another, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline breakout right there. Good. Now let's go back here to the beginning. I want to show you this. Erase this part. For example, right here, you'll see a lot more trade volume, because there's more price action. There's more price action here, more price action here. Yeah, and then here's the 1 minute one. You can see how the 1 minute chart looks different from the 1 day chart, and that's the whole point, because that way we have to see different patterns, and you can compare them from the 1 minute to the 1 day. Yes. So here is again an easy to see double bottom right there. Circle this. Easy to see that double bottom, and it shoots up, and you can see right here, I'll bring this down a little bit. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline breakout right there. Yes. And as we go over here, dun dun dun, let me see if I can show you another one. Dun dun dun. Oh, here's a nice one. Here's your right here. Here's a head. Here's your left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's your neckline breakout right there. Okay, so head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline breakout, and yes, this breaks out and goes down. You can see that, bang, it goes down. Just a couple of those patterns that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see very easily in the 1 day chart. Sometimes they show up easier in the 1 minute. Yeah, and so here let's go on to the fundamentals. Fundamentals volume wise right now, see the volume jumped up today. Volume wise is at 34.2 million. Market cap is at 2.2 trillion. And then go here. Quarterly, yes, you're looking at quarterly Amazon earnings, or you can look at the annual Amazon earnings, whichever your strategy is. Q4 for Amazon was actually less than expectations. Q3 and Q2 were higher, so that looks strong for Amazon. Now, how did they do as a year as a whole? As a year as a whole, annually, 2025 beat expectations, so that looks strong for them. 2024 also beat expectations, and 2023 beat expectations. So even if they have a bad quarter here and there, as a whole, as a year, they beat the expectations, so that looks strong for Amazon. So that looks good. You know, Wall Street might say, oh, you know, that looks good for investing. That looks good for you know, the share price, stock price, etc. But maybe not, because the earnings is not the only thing that matters. You also have to look at profits, income, things like that. So that's why we go here. These are just some of the pieces of the puzzle. Looking at Amazon right here, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Looking at those three columns going down, you see revenue, you see gross profit, you see operating income, and you see net income, all in the green. So in that regard, the revenues, profits, everything look just as good as the earnings. It's not always that way, but in this case it is. So there we go. That's Amazon. And again, we're looking at Amazon because they have these toaster car robo-taxis. Yes, isn't that fun? Also, another one that we want to look at is Accumulation. Why are we looking at Accumulation? Because Accumulation just cut 10% of their workforce. Yeah, and basically it's due to AI. AI is making big changes in the workforce around the world. Peppermint Patty, I love that name. It sounds great. So, for example, what is Accumulation? Basically, it's an Australian American software company that creates products for software development, IT, and project management teams. You know, their tools include project tracking, collaboration, and visual organization, to name a few. Let's go back here to where's my Accumulation? Here it is. Yeah, Accumulation. Carlos, welcome. So they just cut 10% of the workforce, or about 1,600 jobs, as it restructures fund investments in AI to enterprise sales. The company lost more than half of their value this year, part of the software sell-off sparked by AI. And just with this job cut, their stock went up 1%. But again, AI is creating many things around the world. This is just one of them. So let's take a look at them on TradingView. Accumulation. Here we go. Dun dun dun. Accumulation Corporation. And this is the Accumulation Corporation for where's my hold on 1 second. Okay, here's the 1 day. Let's see. 1 second, gotta erase this. Here's Accumulation. Yeah, let me change the timing on these trading bars, and then bring this up here. Yes. Okay. Here's looking at Accumulation on the 1 minute chart. If you look at it on 1 minute versus the 1 day, you'll see different patterns. Again, the first thing I'll show you is this. 1 day, the relative strength index right here is at 37. Okay, 37, which is still pretty neutral. And you'll see right here, it reflects in their price chart. The price chart is going down. That's Accumulation. And you'll see this little 1% jump right there. That's that 1% jump that they're talking about. Okay, and you see that reflected right here. It comes all the way down and then it comes up right there. You see that? That's the RSI at 37. It came all the way down here to about 20 and then finally corrected and came up. And that's what you see right there in the chart pattern there as well. And here, over here, one of the chart patterns I can show you here is this one right here. Here is your double bottom here, double bottom right there. You see that double bottom, and it goes up. And then also here's one. Let me show you this one. Here is here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then bang. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then bang, it goes down right there. Not a lot, but it does go down. And yeah. Again, some of these are easier to see on the 1 day, some of these are easier to see on the minute. But again, it just depends on which patterns you're looking for. Here's the double top, right there, and then bang, it goes down. And also here is your double bottom here, bottom there, and bang, it goes up. And then right here, this is kind of an oddly shaped reverse head and shoulders, but nonetheless, here it is. Here's your reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder, reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and there you go. And it doesn't break the neckline very much, but it's a pattern, it's a chart pattern nonetheless. Here is, let me go over here to the 1 minute, just to show you the difference. Right here, here's one, right here, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then bang, it drops. Not a lot, but it does drop some. Here is your bottom, double bottom, and it goes up, okay? And see if I can get you a different chart pattern. Here is, yeah, this is on the 1 minute for Amazon. Here is your head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, bang, it drops. Yeah, there's that. Now let's go a little bit into the fundamentals quickly. Let's see, but there's a difference. You can see some patterns on the 1 minute better than the 1 day, so just bear that in mind. Go here to the fundamentals. Over here, you'll see that volume. Let me turn this over here on volume. Volume right here. Let's see. Volume right here. You see how the volume bars go up here? That's because there's a lot of price action, so there's more volume. Volume right now is at 6.1 million. Market cap is at 19.9 billion. And then here we are on earnings. Earnings, again, there's quarterly, there's annually. Look at both of them. Depends on your strategy. But Q2 for 2026 exceed expectations. Q1 of 2026 also exceeded expectations. You see the blue bar is higher than the gray bar. The blue bar is what was actually received. The gray bar is just what was expected. Q4 was also higher. So quarterly, that's looking good. Annually, Accumulation for 2025, you can see my cursor right here. 2025, as a whole, over a year, 2025, yes, it did better. And same thing with 2024 and 2023. All 3 years beat expectations yearly in the Wall Street forecast. So again, it's looking good on earnings for the Accumulation. Now looking here annually, click the annual button. If you go to revenue, profits, incomes, and earnings, that's what we're looking at. Now Accumulation was not quite as good here, but still pretty good overall. They for 2024 and 2025, it was good for both years except for operating income in 2025 and pre-tax income in 2025. Otherwise, it was all green. In 2023, also looking pretty good overall. Everything was green: total revenue, gross profit, pre-tax income, net income, except for operating income was negative. Okay, so bear that in mind. Again, that's why you look at all pieces of the puzzle. You look at the profits, the income, and you also look at the earnings, because earnings and profits are not the same. Earnings and income is not the same. So bearing all that in mind, if you have questions about a ticker, if you have something you want me to look at, or a chart pattern or something, just be free to ask, to let me know. And having said that, for those of you that gave a comment, gave a like, give a share, give a follow, thank you very much. It does help the algorithm, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next stream.